presentation. My learning name is Khalid, Dini, and today I will be presenting the first unit, which will be about the anatomy and the physiology. And the first assignment will be about presenting the skeletal system, and I will be relating this to the sport rugby. So the first PowerPoint slide section will be about to describe the function and the structure of the skeletal system. And this second section will be about to describe the different classification with regards to the joints, and that will be related in this to sport rugby, as I've already mentioned. So what is the human skeletal system? The human skeletal system contains of 206 skeletal bones in total. The main job of the skeletal system is to provide structure, support, protection and movement. So without the human skeletal system, the body would just collapse. So rugby players should have a strong and solid skeletal system due to the fact that there is a lot of movement with relating that is required to the within the sport. So for example, within the sport rugby, over 40% of the injury happen in the muscle strains and 30 are in the sprains. So the rest will be dislocations and fractures which will relate to the human skeletal system. Therefore, as a rugby player, you should continuously exercise, which then will increase your bone density and then this decreases the possibility of getting injured. The human skeleton is divided into two parts, which is the axial and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton is the central part of your body, which includes the cranium, which protects your brain, your ribs, which protects your vital organs, such as your heart, your lungs. So the axial skeleton consists of 80 bones, which is divided into 8 parts. So this would include the rib cage, the skull bones, the incisors of the middle ear, the hyoid bone, the sternum, and the vertebral column. This axial skeleton supports and protects the 5 vital organs. So this would include your brain, heart, kidneys, liver and lungs. So a rugby player needs to have a strong axial skeleton and needs to consume products with calcium to increase bone density, and in the same way they need to repeat exercise a lot. They need to exercise a lot, which then will increase their bone density as there's continuous collision that takes place within the sport, which then might lead into, especially the axial skeleton, if one of those bones break with relating to that, it could affect your vital organs, which then could lead into death. The appendicular part of your body is referring to the parts that allow you to move. This would be your femur and your humerus and other parts that allow you to have a great motion within your body. So a rugby player is allowed to have, is required to have a strong appendicular bones due to the fact that they will be using this due to collision that takes part within the sport. So this will basically be your femur that you would use to kick the ball, your arms to throw the ball to your teammate, for example. I was talking about the functions of the skeletal system. So the skeletal system performs vital functions, allowing you to survive. So the purpose of support of the skeleton is that it holds all the organs within your body on the right place. So the vertebral column, which is also known as the backbone at the back, so that holds your body upright. So this aids the rugby player in which it allows them to stay erected to run around the pitch. So without this support, it will be harder to perform certain movements, and you would more likely just collapse. Movement. The bones are held together by ligaments, so all muscles are attached to the bones. Therefore, when the muscles contract, the bone will move. So this aids a rugby player, as the rugby player is continuous in movement. So therefore, rugby players need to run up and down the pitch, and will be using their femur and humerus in order to maneuver. Protection. Protection is one of the 5 functions which protects the brain, for example, and also your vital organs, including your heart and lungs. So a rugby player requires protection due to the fact that there is continuous collision that takes place within the sport. For example, within a scrum, the scrum could lead into damage, or it could even break your neck. So therefore, only rugby players who have trained and exercised their bones So and have got a stronger bone density, could play up front as it could break your neck, for example. The blood cell production. The blood cell production is formed in the bone marrow and is split into two parts. The white blood cell and the red blood cell. The red blood cells are there to carry through the process hemoglobin, which is when oxygen is being sent to the working muscles. So that, so for example, within the sport rugby, he needs oxygen within his femur as he needs to kick a ball, for example, or within his humerus he needs to throw the ball. So therefore he needs those types. He needs to use hemoglobin, which then send the oxygens to the muscles that are in exercise. And the white blood cells relates to if a rugby player cuts himself. So these will protect you from any infection that could enter your body. Shape. This is another part of the 5 functions which gives shape to the body and either makes you tall or short. This changes as you grow and is most likely inherited from your parents. So within the sport, rugby, usually the short players are run out, are put on the outside position due to the fact that they are short and quick enough to run out on the lines. So tall players are most likely to be put in the center of the pitch so they can catch the ball which goes through the middle. Usually it doesn't really matter whether about weight or height, but it's most likely that a rugby player needs to be fit and well conditioned. There are 3 types of joints classed into 3 different classifications depending on whether they are fixed, slightly movable or freely movable. So joints are clutched by bands of connective tissue which are also called ligaments. So this prevents friction, which is when bones are rubbing to each other, which then could cause painful experience. So to sum up, a joint is the part of the body where 2 or more bones come together to meet movement. Fixed joints would be joints that cannot move at all. So this would be most likely bones that are there to protect you. For example, the cranium is there to protect your brain. These are so those are the bones that wouldn't move at all. Slightly movable joints are bones that can move, but the movements are very limited. So this could be the vertebra of the spine. There are 6 types of synovial joints, which are the joints within your body that you commonly use within the sport rugby. This would be the hinge joint, the pivot joint, the ball and socket, saddle joint, condyloid joint, and the gliding joint. The hinge joint is the parts within your body, such as the elbow and ankle, which allows you to perform flexion and extension. So during a rugby game, the player might perform the flexion and extension movement within the elbow when he wants to throw a ball to the teammate, or it also happens around the knees. So this would be when the rugby player wants to kick a ball. The pivot joints are located in your neck, so this allows you to rotate. So this will be beneficial as a rugby player needs to look around the pitch and see who the person can throw the ball to. The ball and socket allows you to perform various movements, including the flexion and extension, but also abduction and internal and external rotation. These types of joints are around the shoulders, which gives you the highest freedom of motion due to the structure. So one example within the sport would be if a player wants to throw the ball sideways, he will be using flexion and extension within your shoulder, for example. The condyloid joint is made up of small parts within your wrist between the oval projection. So this fits in the hollow space within the oppositely placed bone. It allows flexion and extension, however it cannot rotate. So this aids the rugby player as they need to throw a ball by having a good grip on the ball throughout this joint. A gliding joint, which is also known as a plane joint, is formed where bones of flat surfaces. As you can tell from the word gliding, this allows you to glide past one another in any direction regarding the plane of the joint. So this is usually the bones that are located within your wrist and your ankle. This aids a rugby player, similar to the condyloid joint, due to the fact that they need to have a good grip on the ball in order to throw it to the teammate. Thank you for listening to my presentation.